Okay, it's time to play what many consider possibly the least popular Mortal Kombat in the mainstream games, but one that I have not played in some time, and I decided to change that today. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. The roster's not very big. They try to capture the sort of key characters, I suppose, across both. Obviously, a lot of characters are missing. And I'm going to play everyone's favorite, Lex Luthor. If you can hear that tumbleweed, that was obviously a joke. Lex Luthor in this game is not very good and not very popular, but this was back in the day before Injustice and before everything else, where characters would kind of have moves from other characters to bulk out the moveset. And Lex Luthor is the closest thing I got to Sector back in the day. He's got a missile, he's got a homing missile, he's got like a flamethrower. But the gameplay in this game is, I think, one of the areas that the game kind of fell short. Now, I'm not going to constantly, dump on the game all video long, but there's a lot in it that I think needs to be talked about throughout this arcade run. And the first of which being one of the throws can create a kind of rock, paper, scissors game. The throws do a lot of damage if you get a good amount of hits on there. And that's just one of the many areas that can happen. Now, Lex Luthor in particular, that's an infinite. If you can set them up right near the wall at the right angle, his back two normally stuns them, and then you can get like a follow-up. The back two afterwards will splat them on the floor, but they're also still vulnerable. It's almost elements of like MK deception, you know what I mean? Anyway, we want to start off with the first fatality. Check this out. Gave him a twist. And that's it. That's the fatality. And would you believe me if I said that's probably one of the more vicious fatalities in the game? It's kind of weird looking back, isn't it? Because that's just like a throw in a modern game. Maybe not even that. MK9 throws were a bit more visceral than that, but this game was rated teen. It's been well documented on the internet, the journey of Mortal Kombat versus DC. And that really is all there is to it. Now, I do want to say, I am emulating this game. I own both versions of this game on physical, but I kind of want to try and get like the highest quality video I can, and normally capturing things digitally seems to be the best way to go. And there's one of the rock, paper, scissors games again. There is environment transitions, but it sort of engages in a little mini game rather than being just an animation. And speaking of which, here's another one. Now, in competitive, I don't really recall seeing these throws come out all that much. Like, on the few chances I would see competitive MKDC, a lot of the throws, people would rather use the L1 version, which is more of a repositioning tool, and you can throw them into areas of the environment, which can actually give you a combo pop-up, but a bit more stage-specific. Now, a little bit of on-the-spot walls, they can work, and there's one of the splats that I talked about. I don't do it much throughout this. And Lex Luthor's 1-1-1. A lot of his gameplay is tied to the standing one, and we both just activated Rage at the same time. Now, because I hadn't played this game in some time, I forgot the input for his second fatality for the first couple of games. I'm trying to do down, 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 1, and it's actually up, 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 1. So, yeah, I was doing it completely wrong, but we get them a little bit later. But what is Lex Luthor in this game? Now we've given a little tiny, minuscule piece of backstory. Lex Luthor is a very standard character. As I said, his 1-1-1 is kind of like the key tool because you can combo from it. 1-1-3 has like a low, his forward 3 is kind of like a mid, so there's obviously a bit of a mix-up there. But he's built around gadgets. And those gadgets aren't particularly plentiful. He's got the rocket. He can do the rocket in the air. There is a pro move version of the rocket where you've got like a kick retreat, as you can see right there. Problem with that is, yeah, you go full screen after doing it, but the move takes forever to come out. So you can just block the rocket and then just chase me down anyway. So the retreating version seems a little bit pointless. Homing missile's okay, but it does absolutely no damage. I think a homing missile that does lots of damage would probably be considered a bit too much in this game. But now Rage is ready, and we already have a round on the board, so pretty much you can just win this right now. What happened there? Come on. 3D hitboxes, gotta love them. And that's not the first time. That's not the last time we see that. And now the Rage. There's no way Baraka's gonna do it. Now I try and fatality. No, I think nah. We're gonna give him a twist. Twist. And there we go. Another match. You're probably wondering, if you've not really seen much of this game, when you glow yellow and rage. What is rage? Rage is a super duper broken powered up mode. It's tied to the meter system. 1 meter that you build will let you combo breaker, and if you save it to get 2 meters, that is where you're able to do rage. Now rage gives you kind of like permanent armor, and at the same time, they can block the first hit, but then unblockable attacks start to appear as well. And that's where things get really, really out of hand, because doing things on block that do more damage and then unblockables happen, I mean, that's just kind of unbelievable, really. And you don't even have to go for combos. Just anything that has enough, like, hit stun to keep the opponent stuck in place, just loop it. Just loop it, and you're good to go. Now, one of the key things about breakers in this game is that the breaker happens, the opponent gets knocked up into the air, and depending on the stage positioning, you can still combo from it. I think the more notorious examples were definitely like Green Lantern being able to get a combo off almost every single breaker that he lands. And there's another bit of a basic combo. Literally stun into 1-1-1 down forward 2. 40% if you have a pro move on the end of it, which is back forward 4 at the right time. A lot of damage for very little effort, and that is one element of Lex Luthor that's kind of okay. He does decent damage without having to really try very hard. And now rage. AI does manage to get around it, which I think is kind of funny, but there's the 1-1-1 once again. Now, I think I remembered the input this time. Yes! Another fatality incoming.
Lex Luthor wins.
Mission failed.
Fatality.
We'll get him next time. And that's it. They're the fatalities that Lex Luthor has. It's, they're okay. Like, for this game, they're actually not too bad. But not really a fatality, is it? Now, Kano. This was always Mustard's favorite character in this game. AI Kano, as a kid, I remember, like, getting really annoyed by this character because move-reading Kano balls were a bit of a nightmare. Now, the jump into 1-1-1 I'm doing there, the input system of this game feels really weird sometimes. If you try and do, like, a directional move off a jump in, sometimes it just doesn't really like it all that much. You'll try and do jump in 1 into back 1, which is Lex Luthor's launcher, and it just comes out as a standing 1. So you get 1-1-1, and I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't prepared for this. He tries to throw me, but here comes the homing. Ooh, jump kick. At least Lex Luthor can do jump-ins into air rocket. It's better than nothing. Take that. And now with rage available, hit stun. He's just challenging it now, but, you know, if I was doing this at close range, there's the armor that just completely plows through it. Oh, rage in this game is something else. Oh, now here's an issue. If you want to do Lex Luthor's fatality, right, his twister, right, his twister, it's down forward, down back 2. But you can't do it too close. You have to do it close, but if you're too close, it won't come out. So you have to stand a little bit further back, so the forward input of the fatality covers the distance. It's really weird. And it's, you know, one of the old fatality issues where the range can be so specific that you don't realize that just the input alone puts you at the range you have to be, and the game doesn't tell you that, you know? It doesn't tell you that. Now, I'm fighting Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero was actually one of the stronger characters. He was very, very powerful in this game. I mean, he had good buttons. His mobility wasn't too bad, if I remember correctly. I mean, like, I'm no authority on competitive MKDC, but, you know, get around in this scene for long enough, and you always hear tales of the really strong characters of this game, and people always talked about the Flash. They always talked about Green Lantern. And Sub-Zero came into discussion quite often, too. Which, hey, look, at least one of the stronger characters is a Mortal Kombat character, so we'll take that. We'll take that. And I kind of want to just bring you into the mind of someone that had this game back when it was new. Like, this was all we had, right? So you could play them all. Combat character, and you could do, you know, if you're doing an arcade tower or something, maybe the Mortal Kombat specific tower. Like, it's the closest thing you get to what was a next-gen Mortal Kombat experience at the time. It's just a shame that everything else just didn't play like it. Speaking of which, I think do I airstrike him or do I twist him? I think I airstrike him. Yeah, I think we do. We're gonna melt Sub-Zero. Waterman, incoming. You know, that missile strike, that's just one of his meter burn moves in Injustice. You know what I mean? It's a fatality in this game, but the missile strike in Injustice Gods Among Us is the meter burn version of his, like, laser strike? I played Lex Luthor in Injustice 1. He was my favorite character. So one of the reasons I sort of revisited him here, because I never wanted to play Lex Luthor when I was a kid. Never. Because he was just really, I don't know. He's just really not that cool in this game. Maybe Lex Luthor isn't supposed to be cool. I'm not much of a DC knowledge tank, you know. Liu Kang with the move-reading air-to-air fireball. Liu Kang was fun in this game. I do have fond memories just playing Liu Kang, because his moves felt really good to do. He had good fireballs, he had, you know, fun up-close buttons. There's that combo breaker. You never really mind the AI doing a combo breaker in this game, because you just don't want them to activate Rage. Like, Rage is such an overwhelming mechanic that, really, if you can limit them using it as much as possible, that's a bit of a win. And this down forward too, that's actually a special move where he goes palm, palm, palm. That online, if memory serves, had different properties. The netcode of this game was not good. It was the GameSpy servers of 3D, right? So it wasn't as much delay as much as it was just a different experience. Everything functioned differently. And by the way, 112, 113. Oh, the counter rage. That was the only way Liu Kang was actually going to be able to escape that. If he didn't have rage, he would have died for sure. But that down forward 2 actually had different properties online. Now, I kind of feel like it's because it didn't connect properly when you were playing online, but the down forward 2 could actually be looped. Like, only a few hits. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the combo, but like only a few hits of it would connect. So you could actually pick up and loop it again. I think it was like down 1, down forward 2, down 1, down forward 2. Twist! Sorry, just had to give him a bit of a twister again.
Lex Luthor wins.
See you later, Liu Kang.
Fatality.
Playing this game with headphones in does make that fatality a little bit satisfying, because the twist is like, the sound effect is kind of nasty. I think is the only word to use for that one. And now it's time for Sonya.
Round 1.
Interesting thing about this game though is that there are some moves that did transfer into later games. So Sonya, she has her cartwheel in this game, as you can see there. She uses it a few times in this round, if I remember correctly. And, you know, that cartwheel was one of her main moves in Mortal Kombat 9. Scorpion has the sort of Hellfire aura. Didn't see the aura in MK9, but we did see it in Injustice, and then further developed in the Hellfire variation of Scorpion in Mortal Kombat X. Here's another one of those rock, paper, scissors games. Ah, and we counter. Unfortunately, all it does really is get you out of the throw. It doesn't do much else. And that 1-1-1 is a bit awkward to combo from after a juggle. It's hard to explain, but it feels a bit tricky. Doesn't look tricky, but it just feels off. Get me out of here. Time to zone. I would say if my zoning didn't have lots of recovery. Homing missile. See you later. Smart missile, we call it if it's a sector move. But this ain't no sector, let me tell you. Oh, and yeah. I'm curious to see what people's memories are of this game, you know, because some people, maybe even roughly like just under my age group that got into Mortal Kombat, there are some players out there that are really good at Mortal Kombat now, and this was actually their first game. Like, this was their first Mortal Kombat. Because there's a whole generation of people that they kind of started with the 360. You know, I think my age starts to show. You know, my first console was the Amiga. The games had floppy disks. You know, that was my first experience. But I mean, like, fast forward many years, there are people out there that they got involved in gaming through the 360 or the PS3 or whatever. And this was their first Mortal Kombat. And because they had no prior experience with it, they enjoyed this game. And then they played MK9 and were like, oh my god, this is so much better. And there are people out there that did enjoy it. And even at a high level, there were people that played this game online. People that would eventually move into Mortal Kombat 9 and beyond. Some of the clans, the clan wars, were extremely prominent in Mortal Kombat 9 tournaments. With that netcode, I have no idea how they pulled it off, but some of those clans began in this game too. So this game does actually have a bit of a rich history, a richer history than most people would expect, and one that I definitely want to cover someday. Because we do owe certain elements of this game. You know, we could easily say, this game's not very good, yada, yada, yada. But it did result in quite a few things that would happen later. I mean, without this game, we most certainly would not have had Mortal Kombat 9. So we do have this game to thank for essentially Mortal Kombat living on. Yeah, Shao Kahn absolutely bodied me in that first round. Destroyed. But I haven't fought against Shao Kahn in ages, and apparently he's actually quite good in this game. And Shao Kahn, a rather inconsistent character, not considered to be particularly good in the 3D games. 3D was when he was first properly playable. You could play him in Trilogy, for example, but he was always a boss character, like boss that you could play. MK11, obviously different story. Boss character in MK9, not in Mortal Kombat X. So this is one of his like traditional appearances, and he's good. He's considered quite strong indeed in MKDC. I remember playing him back in the day, just a little bit. I mean, I wasn't very good at fighting games. I certainly was not very good at this game. But I definitely enjoyed playing Shao Kahn online. His hammer strike was quite satisfying, of all things. Now, Shao Kahn doesn't break. That makes me nervous, because I'm like, yeah, please don't activate Rage. Uh-oh, he's activated Rage. I'm just going to jump back and hope for the best. And that's what we do. Surprisingly, I was able to block that. I was expecting to get hit by that from the Rage, but didn't. Hey, there's the counter. Lex Luthor, go on, do him. Get him! Get him! Yes! I think I give him a twist. Yeah, here comes the twist. Ooh. So I've had a pretty good time so far in this arcade run. Now you're about to experience Dark Kahn. This is kind of like a mixture of Dark Side and Shao Kahn, if the name didn't immediately give that away. And I'm sure you can learn how to fight him. You know, play this game enough and get used to it, you'll be fine. I forgot how to fight this character entirely. I even forgot what his moves were. So these first few fights, you're going to see some stuff. This is not a no games lost arcade run, I can promise you that. Right, there's the stomp. Now the stomp is actually super whiff punishable, so you could look for that and then, you know, jump in. Rage, here we go. Dark Kahn has reduced damage that he takes, so you gotta hit him a lot more. Oh. That sort of jumping leap just reminds me so much of Idol from the first Killer Instinct, where you'd sit full screen and wait for it. Oh, that shoulder does so much damage too. God, you're never ready for it.
Fight.
Stomp. Catches me out immediately with that, and if you try and tech roll, that unblockable stomp's going to completely blow you up. Now, that's the instance where if I was playing online, that down forward 2, I think would actually result in a bigger combo, but offline it connects as intended, so I can't really complain. Right, loop, 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 loop. Oh, he's free. Oh, he's free. If we had the right, like, stage positioning, I would have been able to infinite him there, but it is extremely finicky. You kind of just take the corner damage where you can get it, and then when it ends, you know. Anything after that first back 2 is definitely bonus damage if you're trying to go for the back 2 infinite with Lex. Homing missile. Oh, and it looks like things are going so well, right? I got Rage. Yeah, he's got Rage as well, but, like, I got a round, and things are looking really good. There's the Rage. I'm like, nah. So I kind of messed up here. I wanted to unblockable and like just catch him getting hit and then do a damage increased back to infinite. It completely backfired. He just blocked every single time. And look how much damage he's done. And why was that? What is that? Why did I just pass through the Forbidden Realm just to go through this guy? And now look, it got him out of the corner and I got unblockable stomped. You know, now I'm watching that back. That should have been a free tower. But I got robbed by hitboxes. God damn it, Lex Luthor. What a stinky character. And we try again. That's all we can do. We jump in and give it another go. I had a feeling I was going to have trouble with Dark Kahn because he is such a weird character. Definitely a boss character, you know, like the damage, the reduced damage that he takes, the speed of everything that he's got. Building up breakers like no one's business and just completely destroying me. I'm being stubborn here and I'm like, no, I'm gonna get some free damage off rockets. Nah, Air Leap has other plans for that, mate. Stomp. Hello, Stomp. Way, back forward 4. And look at it. Yeah, I can retreat, but he's just gonna sprint at me anyway, at the speed of light. Now, at least when things are punishable, you can just do 1-1-1 down forward 2 with Lex against the AI. It's not too bad. And there's the leap. And there's the stomp. Just stood on my sneakers.
Fight.
That's such a rude low. He just stands on your foot, man. What dirty move. And now he's just leaping all over the shop. I have rage, but I don't remember if I use it here, because it's like, I need to get the round, and he's now beating me up, so maybe I need it just to get myself back into the match. See, what does normally 39% does 23 against Dark Kahn. And now he's raged. I think I have to counter rage. Yeah. And then just run in. Oh, and I messed up so bad. So I counter rage, and I plan to run in and just meaty him with 111, which would have been free. But I forgot that he's so stubby with his arms that I started doing the string just a little bit too early. Just a little bit too early. And I just got destroyed for it. But no matter, we're going straight back in. We're giving it another go, mate. We're giving it another go.
Round 1. Fight.
See, my approach here is to try and be a little bit more careful. Like, things are unsafe. A lot of things in MK versus DC are unsafe offline. I think offline is important to mention. Oh, here comes another little mini game that I love so much. Swap him over. Oh, and he move reads. Come on, man. Oh. Hurts so good. But online was a different story, and this was kind of the case in all of the 3D games. It was all done using GameSpy, right? So the infrastructure that was the online for this was the exact same that was used for Deception, that was used for Armageddon. It's just obviously next gen, so you'd think it'd be better, it wasn't. So moves have just different functions. The frame data feels totally different, recovery's totally different. Excuse me, hiccups at a really bad time. And what that means is, oh yeah, I've actually lost this round, so I can't press any buttons, so he just beats me to death right here. But moves having those different functions online meant that the actual meta of the game was entirely different. And because there really was no offline MKDC, I mean, there was a little bit at some of the East Coast tournaments, you can find those VODs. Czech, in particular, has uploaded some of that footage, and Czech is a gold mine for 3D Mortal Kombat that you can get offline, because there were passionate people that would come together and play it. So definitely check out Czech's YouTube, I'll link it in the description. But it meant that the offline meta was a bit more unknown to so many people, because, I mean, no one had offline. They just didn't have it. This was before MK9, before these communities were born. And the existing fighting game communities weren't playing this game, I tell you that much. But we're having a better time here on the round. You know, I'm going to rely on some projectiles here, get some free damage, try and retreat. Not so bad if my back's against the wall, because if they push in, they're going to get hit. If they sprint at you when the homing missile comes out from full screen, it will just miss. It's not as likely to happen against the wall, thankfully, but you are a sitting duck, so the damage trade is not going to be in your favor. So we got Rage. Here we go. I just take the unblockables for what I can get them as. And as you can see, look, we just got ourselves like half-life for free because he's not able to get himself out of it. And he didn't use the breaker either, so that was a bit of fortune for me there. I was looking for the back two to try and get a punish, but we get a jump in. That almost missed again, so I'm lucky that Dark Kahn broke there. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I was going to get punished for that. Love it. Eesh. Airborne charge. No, thank you. And it's just a little bit more. I just decided to play a little bit more patient, wait for him to do stuff. And probably should have done that from the beginning, but you know what? I had to learn. That's MK vs DC, that's Lex Luthor, and this is a game that is lost in history. An interesting ending is coming here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Using data stolen from the Special Forces, Lex Luthor constructed his own portal and breached the barrier that separated the two universes. There he encountered the sorcerer Quan Chi. Their combined power, intelligence, and near omnipresence will be unstoppable. Both worlds will fall prey to this deadly alliance.